going, everybody? We're back in the garage again. And today, as you can see by the title, we got something pretty cool, pretty new, pretty interesting. Something new to me. I've been getting kind of tired of the Jetta that I've had on the channel here a couple times before. I've been getting kind of tired with that. Volkswagens are a love-hate relationship with me. And as I've gotten older, unfortunately, it's leaned more towards on the hate side. I do like them, love the way they look. When maintained, they're great cars, but kind of once you start going down the rabbit hole of lack of maintenance, it's just something that's not fun to get into. The previous owner before me, I don't know if it was the guy that he had got it from or what, but this car has been racked before. There's no history that I could find of it being in any sort of collision, but none of the body panels line up. There's Bondo all over the car, and kind of once I saw that from the get-go, I started losing hope for it. Then as I've had it, all the rust started developing, so I just kind of got tired of that car. So I started looking for something new. I went ahead and picked up what you guys are about to see in a moment here. Picked this up about a month ago via my good friend slash co-worker. He kind of gave me the heads up on it. I was already going to look at another vehicle with him. I was actually going to look at, I think it was a 90 or, no, it was a 01 or 02 G20, non-touring, but it was a 5-speed. Went to look at that. It was a rust bucket. And then he was like, hey, you know what I mean? We can go check out this other car afterwards. Went ahead, checked out this, and kind of started to fall in love with it. The price was right. Once I got it back home to the shop, didn't take much for it to get started and running, and kind of after that, I was kind of sold. So let's go ahead, pull this thing in. You guys can take a look. So that actually wasn't the right car. Don't know how that got in there. That's the right car. All right, so there it is. Got some exterior damage in some spots, but nothing I haven't had before. Get you a little exhaust clip. Again, some damage in the back. Big dent in the trunk there, but I plan on getting just a trunk out of the junkyard or something like that. Those aren't hard to find. Another lot of damage on the left rear quarter panel, driver's side, but can't complain. So, as you can see, I picked up 2003 Nissan Sentra SCR Spec V. Kind of a ridiculously long name with the Spec V on the end there. I think they should have just left it Nissan Sentra Spec V. But I wasn't the one on the team that day. Picked this up for a very good price. Was not running at the time. Got it trailered back to the shop here. Kind of just unloaded the parts cannon in it. When I got it, it had a bunch of bad wiring, which I'll kind of go over with you guys in a moment here when I pop the hood. Redid some of the wiring, threw 4 coils at it, ignition coils, cam sensor, crank sensor, mass airflow sensor, runs like a charm. Had to do a few other things, again, which I will go over in a moment, but real quickly, just threw some parts at it. Some I had lying around, some that I got from the junkyard and some other places, bought a bunch of new stuff as well, and it's kind of been running great ever since. So let's go ahead, let's pop the hood, and we'll do kind of a more in-depth little breakdown here. As you can see right off the bat, there is a few things in there that don't quite look stock. Again, I'll go over those in a moment here. First, I want to break down kind of just where it was when I got it and what I had to do to get it running. So you can see 4 nice shiny coil connectors and 4 nice shiny ignition coils. So I actually had these already in my parts bin from working on the B13. When I was working on getting the coil on plug set up going in that car, which I still need to finish, obviously, seeing as I just used all the parts I had for it for this car. I'd bought 4, these are actually from a, what is it, 370Z. Swapped right in here, wired up the 4 coil connectors I had, because the ones that were on this car were just disintegrating. Like as you were unplugging them, the wires were pulling out and all that. So swapped those over, got that going good. And then probably can't really tell. Oh yeah, I guess you can kind of tell how shiny that cam sensor is, nice and new. I believe I bought a Hitachi cam sensor, and I just went to the dealership for the crank sensor, even though I believe it's the same exact part. Paid a bunch more at the dealership, but it is what it is. Threw those at it, wired those up. I also went ahead, and you won't really be able to tell from right here, but this is actually a B16 MAF sensor. So I got it running on the MAF sensor that was in the car, but it was a cheap, and I'll try and find it real quick. It was a cheap like Duralast MAF sensor, and I was having some issues with the car. I don't know where it is, but it was a cheap Duralast aftermarket MAF sensor. I was having problems with that MAF. It was getting a stumble, and it wasn't very smooth, just trying to drive it around the lot here. And so I went ahead, did a little research, figured out you can swap in a B16 mass airflow sensor if you have, or not B16, it might be a B16. I believe that is a 06 MAF. After this year, after 2003, from 04 to 06, they used a wideband style ECU, runs with a wideband sensor off of the O2 sensor rather than a narrow band, and they changed around a couple other things to go along with that, one being the mass airflow sensor. So I converted it over to the later style mass airflow sensor. Along with that, you do have to add an SAFC. It's not a plug and play affair, but I already had an SAFC around, again, from the good old B13. So kind of everything went full circle. The grandfather, as you will, was helping out his grandson here with some of his old parts. Keeping it all in the Nissan family, which I do love. So, come into the car real quick here, show you guys a few things. Like I said, I had to install the SAFC. So, this is the OG SAFC 1. Technically, what you would want for this would be an SAFC 2 or an SAFC Neo, where those would really be able to dial in your idle. It's good enough to where I feel safe with it, but it'll idle like about at those numbers right there, like high 16s, low 17s. Sometimes it'll dip all the way to the 18s, depending on the air temperature. Also, this is in the winter right now. All right, sorry, my phone connected to the Bluetooth on my head unit, kind of messed up the video there. But come summertime, I may have to get the SAFC 2 or SAFC Neo to really dial in my idle once the temperature warms up. But for right now, in the middle of winter, I've had really no issues with it. Also, as you could see, as I was showing, went ahead and installed a spare wideband I had lying around so that I could really get it dialed in as much as I can. So the interior, not in the greatest condition. Bit of wear on the bolster on the seat there. Rip on the passenger seat on that side. You can see the carpet is trash. It's pretty disgusting. Steering wheel has seen much better days. Coming to the back, I actually had to go ahead and replace this rear door panel. I have here is the actual Spec V door panel with the silver cloth there. You can see that big heavy scratch through the door panel, and as you can see, the lower half is not there. It's there. So that was in 2 pieces when I got the car, so I went ahead and just grabbed a normal B15 one, just that I had a full interior. Also, you can see it actually shows up way better on camera than it does in real life. These seats are disgusting in the back seat. That's actually really bad. I need to clean those. We're gonna dive back into the engine bay now and see some of the stuff that is aftermarket on the car. So you can see it has an aftermarket header on it. Very common on these cars that has, this would be one of the cars that has like the cat, primary cat right in the header, right on the head. So when those fail, it's prone to sucking chunks of the cat up into the head, just destroying stuff. So one of the previous owners has luckily already gone ahead and replaced it with an aftermarket header. Also, along with that, if you kind of know your B15, your Spec V stuff, this is not the intake manifold that would be on this car. This is a B16 intake manifold. It also has a throttle body spacer. And as I said, I had the later style math on it. So it has the 2J Racing B16 intake manifold upgrade, which is pretty cool. Down there, it also has the 2J Racing short throw shifter. Pretty cool that it had the couple mods already on the car. Header, it also has basically a full exhaust. It still has the small secondary cat, and then it has aftermarket exhaust piping back to just a MagnaFlow muffler back there, as you guys heard. Along with that, I went ahead, and I don't know why I'm walking back here. There's no point in me doing that. But I went ahead and threw in a 255 liter per hour Walbro fuel pump in the car. I was having a hard start issue, like I'd have to prime the pump more than once a lot of the time, and it'd have a really long crank to it, which I still have a bit of a long crank, but you have one clip of that where the fuel that was in like the strainer bowl was disgusting. There was like, I don't even know how to explain it other than it seemed like rocks in the fuel, but go ahead, I'll show you guys a clip of that now. Ever since I went ahead and did that, I've definitely had way less of a hard starting issue, way less stumbles, and the car just driving feels like it accelerates a lot smoother, if that makes any sense. But yeah, and then along with the fuel pump, I went ahead and upgraded the entire sound system on the car. Some of these cars did come with the optional Rockford Fosgate sound system, which would come with I believe an 8-inch subwoofer from the factory in the trunk. This did not have that, just had the factory, I think it was all Panasonic speakers. Nothing really too great. So I went ahead and put together, I actually built this box myself. Let's get that to focus. Built this box for a 12-inch sub, put a 12-inch sub in the trunk, 500 watt amp, and this thing sounds great. And then along with throwing the sub in the trunk, I did go ahead and upgrade both of the rear deck speakers and both of the front door speakers. Just kind of the last couple things here on the car. I guess the negatives on the car, as you will. I did have to go and get another full set of rims for the car. When I got it, it had one rim that was just totally broken. I think I already went ahead and scrapped it. It's not here anymore. But one of the spokes was broken completely through. Also, this car has a rebuilt salvage title. I believe that wheel was from the car got in the accident, because I don't see any other way how you could crack a spoke in one of these wheels. They're pretty stout. So I went ahead and picked up a set of factory wheels for this car, kind of got a good deal on those. Here's the big kicker, does not have 6th gear. It does definitely have the 6-speed transmission in it. If you go on the forums and stuff like that, there's stories of people that have had 5-speed swapped into this. That is not the case. I just don't have 6th gear. Definitely gonna have to get a transmission at some point for this car, which is kind of a crappy scenario. But again, I got this car for a pretty good price, so I can't complain too much. Also, power steering rack is leaking pretty bad. So I also need to go ahead and swap out the power steering rack. And not sure if you guys saw, but the windshield is broken. I have the worst luck I think every single one of my cars I've ever owned has had a broken windshield. Probably you guys have noticed. Not sure if you can see it on camera, but my B13 has a broken windshield. My Jetta had a broken windshield. My old B13, the rusty one before this, had a broken windshield. I think every car I've ever owned has had, or I have, broken the windshield on it. It's a curse. I don't know what it is. So at some point, I'm gonna have to buy a new windshield for this car, swap out the transmission, and swap out the power steering rack. But other than that, it's great. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Kind of just a quick update on the new car here. I know probably some people will be happy that I'm back in a Nissan for my daily. I know I am. I already love this little thing a lot more than I loved the Jetta. Way more fun to drive around. A little bit better on gas mileage, a little bit faster, just all around a better car. So definitely stay tuned for some more videos. There will be some content on that white car that I showed you guys, the new two-door B13. And I definitely will have some more content on the good old four-door B13. Not really exactly sure long-term plans for this. I originally got that white car to shell swap everything from this back into that. But I just love this ugly little car. So I think I'm gonna keep both of them. I think I'm just gonna make this a regular little VE, maybe on a little spray or something. Just something to go out and hurt feelings when need be, very unsuspiciously. Make it look a little bit more stock again, which wouldn't take too much work, and go all out on the white car. That is the plan, at least for the white car. Cage it, make it safe, see how fast I can go. So, definitely stay tuned, guys. We'll have some more stuff coming up soon here, and I'll see you guys next time.